Hey everybody, welcome to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. I am John Clark along with the great Ike Reese and the great Mike Quick. Birds are trying to win 3 straight games for the first time in 2 seasons. They're a half game out of a wild card spot. They've won 3 of 4. What has impressed you the most off of these wins?
Well, I'll start on the defensive side of the ball.
Of course.
The way that they've started to attack the football, right? We talk about getting turnovers. That's what they've been able to do, getting extra possessions for the offense. And then the way that they played down in the red zone, right? When you get down in the tight, constricted areas and you keep them out of the end zone. So they're starting to hold teams to more field goals instead of touchdowns. And I think that's also aided this success the team has had over the last 2 and 3 weeks.
Well, red zone, that's good. Turnovers you gotta have. If you're gonna win, you gotta have turnovers. But come on, man. The O-line, Jeff Stoutland and the offensive line, what they're doing to teams. You got the #1 run defense in all of football coming to Lincoln Financial Field. They ran the football for over 240 yards against that defense. That says a whole lot. They're moving people. They're dominating the line of scrimmage. That is the difference in this football team right now.
Yeah, over 1,000 rushing yards over their last 5 games, their most over a 5-game span in 71 years. Let's go back to what Ike was talking about, the defense. Defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon calling up a lot of third down blitzes. Here's tape study with our own Fran Duffy and the DC.
Ball up at the 34. Motion to the far side. Again, it goes to Ingram. He's got a first down and more. Football comes loose. Let's see. Eagles have it. They have it again. Another takeaway on top of it, TJ Edwards.
Well, excited to welcome back here to Eagles Game Plan for some tape study. Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Coach, thanks so much for joining us once again here on the show.
You got it. Let's get rolling, Fran.
All right, well, let's start off with a big play here from number 91, the man in the middle, Fletcher Cox. Take us through what we see here on this forced fumble in the run game.
Yeah, so this is obviously a huge play in the game, and this is a testament to Fletch. You know, just everything that we've been trying to do is he's playing his gap, puts his hands on his guy, he's knocking back the guard, penetrating, and then as the ball kicks through, as we talk about, he has ball awareness and violence. So what you see is as he rips off, because he doesn't stay blocked, he rips off, he locates where the ball is, and you see him just stab at the ball right there. The easy way to do that is, you know, guys just probably let that ball go, and he understands the value of the ball, as our entire defense does, and makes a huge play. But what's the great thing about this is in traffic, as the ball's creasing through, you see, you know, if you could close up to his eyes are deadpan on that ball. And that's why you see him stick his fist right on a ball right there and knocks it loose. So, you know, huge play in the game. And then the other thing we talk about is population to the ball. When we do force fumbles, we need more black jerseys than there are white jerseys. So you need population to the ball, because I think this ball even gets kicked out. It gets spit out a little bit, and TJ ends up right there as it spits out. You see the 2 offensive linemen looking, and TJ has his eyes down on the ball there and ends up recovering the ball. But, you know, it's just a great play by Fletch in the run game to force that fumble, and then for us to have a lot of black jerseys around it, and TJ ends up falling on it. But just a huge play, because we know the value of the ball, and the takeaway battle is a really a winning stat. So hats off to those guys. They did a good job with that.
So really good run fit there from the entire group, and I thought there were a number of examples of exactly that in this game against the Saints. This one, another one, 2nd and short, and you really see the wall built up front against a heavy set here from the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, so you just said it, Fran. You know, we talk about certain calls that we have in run defense. We talk about setting an edge and building a wall and more than one hat on the ball. So, you know, you see everywhere from Milton to Ryan to Alex to Marcus there. You know, they're playing their gaps and they're striking blocks. Our hat's underneath their hat, and we're square. There's the wall right there. So that ball, exactly like you're drawing, has to kick out, and it's not a drastic cut on the crack replace where they're making our corner, Slay, tackle here. With this particular play, you know, it's looking for an inside crease, and if you give it to him, then he'll take that inside crease. But if you do a good job building a wall, now that back has to jump cut this thing, but he can't do it downhill. He has to do it horizontally and not vertically. Slay takes the slack out, his inside foot up, keeping the ball on my inside pad. You see guys start to rip off Milton right there. See him start to, so Milton wins his gap. And then as the ball commits, now he rips off, and we want more than one hat on the ball. So you see Slay hitting him. Marcus is reaching out for the ball. That's a good strip attempt right there. And then you got Milton starting to fall back on the ball right there, and you got Rodney coming from top down, and the pursuit on the backside's coming. So that's just a really good snap of and a good strip attempt by TJ right there as well. Alex hitting the ball as well. Just a really good example of good run defense is, we always talk about it's 11 versus 1. They have one ball carrier, we have 11 guys. So we don't want to just have one guy on the ball. And certain times you can't prevent that, but as much as we can, we want to have more than one hat on the ball. We call that a team defensive tackle, which is 5+ on the ball. And that's an example of that. So just really good execution by the players, understanding what the play concept is, what to do with each spot, what we're looking for, and good execution of that call.
So, Coach, let's now go forward to take a look at big play Slay and what Darius has done. 3 touchdowns in 4 weeks. Let's take a look at his pick 6 here in this first half, late in the half. Take us through what you see on this play. And I'm excited just from your experience as a defensive backs coach, just kind of isolate Darius here and tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, so this is in a 2-minute drill. So he's playing off right here. And, this is just what he does in practice every day, Fran. And this guy is a technician. He's ultra competitive. He loves football. He loves to practice. And this is what he does every day. So you see it show up. So, he's got good pad level as he pedals. He understands that this stem from this split is not going to be a vertical route. So he's tempoing this thing really good. His RPMs are low. What I mean by that is he's not panicked at all. He's got good cushion right there, but he's still in a position to challenge. Once this guy sits his hips and shoulders down, he sticks his foot in the ground. You see his footwork is perfect. He's in his cylinder, what we call in our cylinder, where he's not overextended. He sticks his left foot in the ground, which is his plant foot. His drive foot is the right foot. And then you see him run 4.25 right out of his break. Just really good there. And you see what helped him up here is 94 and 91. So you see him get that quarterback off the spot here. We've been rushing good all day. He's probably a little bit uncomfortable. You see the pocket start to collapse there. Fletch starts to turn the corner. And he can't really step up into this throw like he wants because Fletch and Sweaty right there. So even though that's a little detail that you're like, oh, well, he kind of stepped up and threw it well, that quarterback feels pressure in his face right there, probably leading to him throwing this ball a little inside, which makes this thing go. So we always talk about rush and cover. Slay should give half of that football because of his touchdown to Sweaty and Cox.
And just like the sacks go the other way,
That's
all
right.
the same thing,
That's
full
right.
team
They're
football.
all connected. They're all connected.
Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers, proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. And by Pepsi, your official soft drink of your Philadelphia Eagles.
Guys, great team win right there. Offense, 244 yards rushing. On what used to be the #1 rush defense in the NFL. Defense! We stopped that run all day. Great job. Hey, that's our identity. That's our identity. It's not about the plays. It's not about the defenses we call. It's about us being mean and nasty, being together, right? Being together, all right? And that's what's going to help us take us through. Hey, we're nasty. We are nasty. We got a division game next. And guys, I was close, and I really wanted to see you guys tomorrow, but we're going to stick with what works. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Obviously, Nick Sirianni is fired up in that locker room, and he was really fired up about talking about his offensive linemen this week. How about 50 rushes, the most by the Eagles in 24 years? They're just pushing defensive linemen back, and that was the #1 rush defense with the Saints. Mike Quick, what are you loving about this running game?
I think there's so much variety in this run game. They have the perimeter runs, they have the downhill runs, you got quarterback runs, you got options. So defenses, they don't know what to do because there's so much variety in the run run game. Watch this play where you've got two tight ends on the left side, and the blocking is just perfect. The tight ends, they block the defensive end, and then up to the linebacker, you'll see Jack Stoll go, and then you'll see the kick-out block by Jordan Mailata on Malcolm Jenkins. And watch Jason Kelsey, the center. He's uncovered, he gets out to the left side, he helps Stall on the linebacker, and then he goes to the next level to get one of the defensive backs. This is a perfectly blocked play for Miles Sanders, and it's a lot of what they're able to do in the run game. They're so in sync. They do such a great job, and the variety really keeps the defense off balance.
Well, the Eagles, they're the second best rushing team in all the NFL now. Giants are giving up over 120 rushing yards on the ground, but Tom Brady also threw for 300 yards against them this week. So what are we going to see with that Giants defense? Here is enemy intel with Greg Cosell.
This will be a fascinating matchup between the New York Giants defense and the Philadelphia Eagles offense. The Giants, over the course of this season, have had some very good moments on defense, and they're very defined in how they play. They're a team that plays one of the higher percentages of dime with 6 defensive backs of any team in the NFL. They also play a lot of nickel. They use different personnel inside in the nickel and the dime. But as I said, they do have some tendencies. And let's start with the nickel. One of the things you will see them do when they're in their nickel is pressure, but they're predominantly zone pressures, not man pressures, zone pressures, and they will often then rely more on their defensive line to win and create pressure on the quarterback, as you see here against the Denver Broncos, where they get a sack from a defensive lineman. So that's one thing that has been kind of a tendency for them throughout the season. When they play dime with 6 defensive backs, they get better athletes on the field, and they're more likely tendency-wise to play man coverage with man pressures. And there was a great example of that week 3 against the Falcons. You can see that with a safety getting in clean from the front side of Matt Ryan, and they're playing man coverage behind it, and they force a quick throw that's knocked down. So these are tendencies that they've shown. When you start getting into long yardage situations, we've seen over the course of this season what the Giants do. A lot of zone pressure from nickel, a lot of man pressure from dime. That's something that's not likely to change with a short week for this game.
All right, we saw some of the things that the Giants defense is going to bring to the Eagles in this game. Ike Reese, what else are you seeing from the Giants D?
A lot of versatility over there. You know, Patrick Graham comes from that school of Bill Belichick, where he'll play guys out of position, and, you know, this guy will be playing corner one minute and the next thing he's playing safety. You're going to see a lot of that with this Giants defense. They like to use a lot of the sub packages, right? So, you know, what you may get at the pre-snap also can change at the snap of the ball. And so they like to be versatile over there, and they like to bring pressure from different guys as well. So the Eagles as an offense will certainly need to be alert to who's out there on the field, but at the same time, understand that sometimes what you think you're going to get may not be what happens at the snap of the ball.
And the Eagles have done a great job of staying on the field lately. Best third down team in the NFL over the last month, completing more than 55% of their third downs. When Jalen Hurts can also run for those first downs on third downs, how demoralizing is that to a defense?
That's a big value for this offense. This is a football team, the Eagles, that can run the ball on third downs. You don't see many teams run the ball on 3rd and 6 or situations like that, but the Eagles are comfortable that they can do that because of the versatility, because of the guy that they have at quarterback, who can certainly run the football. And talking to Nick Sirianni last week, he talked about how he holds the backside. When he's running a play side, it really holds that backside in, and so that really gives you more field to work with.
What is he doing? That's just. You
think it looks swaggy? You think it looks cool, bro?
Yeah, you more than that. Let's go! My dog. How you doing?
Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, Avonte Maddox, you gotta love his personality. Always positive, always laughing, always having fun. Kind of reminds me of Ike Reese on defense. Ike Reese, how about all these third down blitzes? They really got home and they were really effective against these Saints.
Yeah, and I think they're being judicious when they decide to use them, right? So sometimes you get an obvious situation that pops up. You think they're gonna bring a blitz. There are several times last week they didn't. They came with a four-man pressure. It led to sacks. And then there was times this past week versus the Saints when we got in these situations. And I like what the defense showed. Let's take a look at a play here where it's going to be a great disguise. You get Marcus Epps and Rodney McLeod walking up towards the line of scrimmage right here to the right side of the defense. Trevor Siemian recognizes this. The center recognizes this. They want to turn the protection to the offense's left to our right here on defense. Now, where this comes in to benefit the Eagles is that we also on the left side here have a nice little disguise going with Alex Singleton. He could either be a hole dropper or he could just be waiting for a first crosser. So at the snap of the ball, you're going to get the center turn to the right as they turn to protection, but we got three guys coming to the left side here, and the confusion here between the guard and the tackle to our left is what allows Alex Singleton to come scot-free. This didn't result in a sack, but it forced Trevor Siemian to get rid of the ball sooner than he wanted to, and it led to the Saints being off the field on third down. So sometimes even when the play doesn't result in a sack, just getting the pressure on the quarterback that leads to an incompletion or a turnover can be beneficial as well.
All right, and one thing, Saquon Barkley is back. Hey, he's run for a lot of yards against the Eagles. He averages like 6.5 yards a rush against the Birds, but he's 0-4 against the Eagles. Yeah. What are the challenges defending Saquon?
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't worry about the overall record from a team standpoint. This guy is still dangerous and explosive if he gets the ball in his hands and he gets to the outside, right? We've seen him go long on this Eagles defense in the years past. Played his first game last week versus Tampa. I think he was still shaking some of that rust off. But you better believe coming into this game, Joe Judge wants to do two things. He wants to stop the Eagles from running the football, running the ball down their throat, and he wants to be able to run the football. They want to be a physical football team as well, and I believe this will be a game that they try to get Saquon Barkley going. So I think it's going to be important for the Eagles as a front seven defense. Get off your blocks. Don't allow this kid to get to the second level and get as many hats around the football as you can.
Welcome back to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. And with Jordan Howard probably not playing, let's not forget about the guy who always crushes the Giants, Boston Scott. 6 of his 7 career touchdowns coming into this year were against the Giants. You could see him play a big role again. How about you, Ike Reese?
It almost sets up perfectly for Boston, right? Yes.
Slide right in there.
Yes, he's the giant killer.
Yeah.
I expect us to continue to be road warriors, right? I mean, unfortunately, we've been better on the road than at home. That's changing after last week. But we need to continue the road dominance. You know, the last couple games against Detroit and Denver on the road, pretty much went in there, took over their stadiums. It's going to be a packed house up there in the Meadowlands. I expect our Eagles fans to travel well, and I expect us to go up there and play well. You know, the whole division rivalry thing can sometimes be overplayed, but for me, this game means a lot. It was always my favorite game to play.
Not the Cowboys.
In the division. It was always my favorite game in the division. No secret about that. Listen to the show. You would know that.
What time is it now?
The Giants game is always a big game, and I expect this one to be big as well.
I'll be listening to him this week. How about for you, your final thought?
Well, Ike's talking about this team being road warriors. Well, one thing that we know after being around this game for such a long time, run games travel. And they can travel that run game that's been so successful over the past few weeks up to MetLife Stadium and run the football, be physical. You know, the coach is talking about this physicality of this football team. Take that on the road, put your big shoulder pads on, and take that up to MetLife Stadium.
The running game made the plane trips, now the bus trips. So Eagles have also won 8 of 9 and 12 of 14 against the Giants. But division games are always tight and tough. If you listen to Ike's show, you would know that. Thanks for watching Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. Check out the kickoff show, PhiladelphiaEagles.com, 12:10. Birds are 4-2 on the road. Let's see them do it again. Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers, proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. And by Pepsi, your official soft drink of your Philadelphia Eagles.